My name is Olivia Reed, and I'm 30 years old. On paper, my life has always looked boring in the way that makes bankers nod with approval. I'm a data analyst for a mid-sized financial company. My days are an endless stream of spreadsheets, trend lines, and risk reports. I find patterns and chaos for a living. If someone hands me a mess of numbers and shrugs, I can tell you exactly where the mess started and how bad it's going to get if no one fixes it. It's not glamorous, but it's stable, predictable. My condo is the same way. Quiet mid-rise, decent view if you lean over the balcony just right, everything paid for on time. The deed is in my name, my credit score, my down payment, my chipped coffee mug sitting next to a color-coded budget binder in the kitchen. For the last year, my boyfriend has lived there with me. His name is Adam Vance, 28, charming in that curated way that photographs well. We'd been together 2 years, and for a long time, I thought we made sense. I was the serious one with the spreadsheets. He was the spontaneous one with the goofy selfies and live a little live speeches. From the outside, we probably looked like a balanced couple. From the inside, the last few months felt off. Not he's definitely cheating off. More like watching a chart where the numbers are drifting just far enough from the baseline that your gut says something's wrong, even if it's not catastrophic. Yet. It started small. Too many giggly, hush-hush conversations between Adam and his little sister Maya, 26. Too many loaded questions tossed at me like casual jokes. Would you forgive me if I messed up once? If someone flirted with you, you'd say no, right? Like, immediately? How do you know if someone's really loyal? He'd ask and then glance at his phone like he was waiting for someone to text him back with a score. The first real spike on the graph came a month ago. I have this collector's edition figurine. Yes, I'm a nerd. No, I'm not embarrassed. That sits on a shelf next to my TV. Limited run, expensive, a reward I bought myself when I got my last promotion. One day it was just gone. I came home, dropped my bag, and felt that weird electric jolt you get when something in your space has been moved. The shelf looked wrong. My brain ran an instant inventory and tripped over the empty spot. Adam, I called, did you move my figurine? He didn't even look up from his phone. What figurine? The one that's been on that shelf for 2 years, I said, pointing at the blank space. The one you made fun of exactly 12 times. Oh, that, he frowned. I didn't touch it. Maybe Maria knocked it over or something. Maria is my cleaner. She's in her late 50s, tiny, soft-spoken, and has been coming twice a month for 4 years. She's the kind of person who apologizes to furniture when she bumps into it. Maria wouldn't steal from me, I said immediately. I didn't say steal, Adam replied, a little too fast. I just, things go missing. People get tempted. He said it lightly, but his eyes were sharp, watching my reaction. 2 days later, he was angrier. You need to talk to her, he snapped while we were doing dishes. That thing was worth a lot, Liv. She probably sold it already. This is what happens when you trust people too much. I did talk to her, I asked gently, trying not to sound accusatory. Maria's eyes filled instantly with tears. She kept wiping her hands on her apron, insisting she would never, ever touch my things. And I believed her. Everything in my career has trained me to recognize when someone is lying. Her voice shook, her English slipped, and shame, not guilt, colored her face. When I told Adam I wasn't firing her, he exploded. So you trust a stranger more than your own boyfriend? He demanded. I can't believe this, Olivia. She took advantage of you and you're just letting her. I didn't fight back, not out loud. But something inside me went very still. When patterns change, you don't argue with the numbers. You collect more data. The next day, on my lunch break, I bought a discreet, high-definition camera, sleek, black, and small enough to pass as a Bluetooth speaker. I set it on the media console in the living room, pointed at the main area. I thought you hated smart devices, Adam said, eyeing it. It's not smart, I lied smoothly. Just a camera. We keep saying we should have something in case anyone breaks in. Plus, if something else goes missing, we'll know for sure who took it. It protects your stuff too. His face brightened at that. Okay, I see you. Data queen, he said, kissing my forehead. Guess I should be glad you're paranoid. I let the word slide. I wasn't paranoid, I was paying attention. For a while, nothing happened. The camera blinked its little red light day after day, recording empty rooms, Netflix nights, and me folding laundry on the couch. I didn't bother reviewing the footage. Not until the night everything blew up. It was a Friday. Adam said he was going to a guys' night, wings and beer at some sports bar. He kissed me on the cheek, promised to be home late, and left smelling like cologne. I changed into an oversized t-shirt, curled up with a book, and let the quiet settle around me like a blanket. At 9 p.m. sharp, the doorbell rang. I frowned. Maria never comes that late, and Adam has a key. When I opened the door, Maya was standing there, framed by the hallway light. Tight jeans, low-cut top, hair curled, perfume so strong it floated in before she did. "Olivia," she chirped, breezing past me without waiting to be invited. "Hey, I think Adam left his favorite jacket here and he's freaking out. I told him I'd swing by and grab it." I stepped aside automatically. Sure. I think it's in the closet by the door." She didn't go to the closet. She went to the couch and sat down, way too close to where I'd been sitting, with a little sigh, like she'd just had the longest day of her life. "So," she said, leaning back, "just you tonight?" "Yeah," I replied slowly, closing my book. "Adam's at a guys' night." "Right, guys' night." Her mouth curved into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Must be lonely all by yourself." "I'm fine," I said, shifting slightly away from her. "I like the quiet." "You're always so serious." Her hand landed on my knee like it belonged there. So loyal. It's cute. Every nerve in my leg lit up. "Maya, what are you doing?" I asked, my voice dropping. She leaned closer, eyes half-lidded, voice dropping to a whisper that felt rehearsed. "Adam is so lucky, you know that? He doesn't even realize how lucky he is." And then she lunged. 1 second she was too close. The next, her face was coming at mine. Lips parted, her hand sliding up my thigh. My reaction was pure instinct. I shoved her, hard. She stumbled backward off the couch, nearly twisting her ankle in those ridiculous heels. "What the hell, Maya?" I shouted, standing up so fast my book hit the floor. "Are you insane? Get out of my house." Before she could answer, another voice cut through the room, a shriek of laughter from the hallway. Not Maya. The bedroom door flew open. Adam burst out, phone in hand, already filming, cackling like this was the best content he'd ever captured. "Oh my God," he yelled. "You passed. You actually passed." Maya straightened her shirt, a smug smirk sliding into place like a mask. "Wow, Liv," she said breathlessly. "Total choir girl, I almost had you." My heart was pounding, but there was nothing romantic about it. It was cold, sharp rage, the kind that makes your hands steady instead of shaking. Adam kept laughing, pointing his phone at me. "You should see your face right now. Baby, relax. It was just a loyalty test. My friends and I planned it. You passed." He moved in for a hug. I held up my hand. "Don't touch me." The laughter died in his throat like someone had hit mute. "Olivia, come on," he said, confused. "It was a joke. You passed. Like, you should be happy right now." "I heard you," I said quietly. "You said I passed." "Yeah." He glanced at Maya, then back at me. "You did." I looked him straight in the eye. "You didn't." For a moment, he actually looked scared. "What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. It was just a test." "You had your sister sexually harass me in my own home," I said, each word slow and precise. "You hid in the bedroom and filmed it for what? A laugh? Content? To send to your friends?" "You're overreacting," Maya snapped. "It was harmless." "Was it?" I asked. I turned my head and looked past them, at the small black lens on the media console. "Because I wasn't the only one filming. I was recording too," I said softly, in 4K with crystal clear audio. Silence dropped over the room like a curtain. Adam's face went pale. "What camera?" he whispered. "The one I installed when my figurine went missing, and you decided Maria must have turned into a thief overnight," I said. "Funny thing, I finally have a reason to review the footage." I walked toward the console. Adam lunged for it. "You can't film me in my own home," he shouted, grabbing for the device. "This isn't your home, Adam," I said, stepping between him and the camera. "It's mine, and you're no longer welcome here." His mouth fell open. "You're breaking up with me over a joke?" "I'm breaking up with you over a malicious, premeditated setup that involved your sister putting her hands on me while you hid and recorded like a creep," I replied. "You two are disgusting." While they sputtered, I pulled out my phone, opened the camera app, and started downloading the last 10 minutes of footage. My thumb flew across the screen, familiar motions soothing my shaking insides. "You have until this finishes downloading," I said without looking up, "to pack a bag with your essentials, walk out that door, and not come back." "You're crazy," Maya hissed. "You can't do this." I ignored her. I was busy. Because as they scrambled around, grabbing chargers and makeup and whatever else they could stuff into a duffel, I was composing an email. To Mr. and Mrs. Vance. Subject: Your son's and daughter's weird new hobby. I attached the file. I typed, "Mr. and Mrs. Vance, Olivia here. I thought you should see what Adam and Maya consider a hilarious joke. This footage was taken in my living room approximately 15 minutes ago. I'm sure you'll be as disturbed and disappointed as I am. Adam's things will be at the curb tomorrow." I hit send. Adam saw the "to" line over my shoulder and went white. "You sent that to my dad?" he choked. "Olivia, you can't—" "He's a numbers guy," I said, opening the front door. "He can look at the data and draw his own conclusions." I held the door open. "Get out." They stumbled into the hallway. Adam swearing I'd ruined his life, Maya snarling threats she couldn't back up. I shut the door, turned the deadbolt, leaned my forehead against the cool wood for a second, breathing. My phone buzzed in my hand, already lighting up with an incoming call from Mrs. Vance. I declined it. Then I went to the kitchen, poured myself a generous whiskey, and sat down at my laptop. Because if there's one thing I know, it's this. The first weird spike on a chart is never the whole story. And I had an entire month of footage to review. 72 hours later, I was running on caffeine and spite. My phone looked like it had been possessed. Missed calls stacked on missed calls, notifications so constant the screen felt hot. Adam, Maya, Mom Vance, Dad Vance. Unknown numbers. Voicemails I refused to listen to. The texts were their own kind of art. From Adam, "Delete that video right now, Liv. You violated my privacy. This is illegal. My dad is going to sue you. You ruined everything. I hope you're happy." From Mrs. Vance, "Miss Reed, dear, please pick up. This is a terrible misunderstanding. The kids were just high-strung. They didn't mean any harm. Please, let's talk like adults. Call me immediately." From Maya, "You're literally insane. You assaulted me and filmed it. You think anyone is going to believe your side when they see what you did?" I didn't respond to a single one of them. I was busy. Friday night, the night I kicked Adam out, I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch with my laptop open, the camera SD card slotted in, and watched. At first, it was hours of nothing. Me doing yoga, Adam scrolling on his phone, Netflix, Maria dusting carefully around that figurine, normal life. Then I found the first clip. The figurine was on the shelf. Timestamp, 2 days before I noticed it was missing. Adam was alone in the living room, pacing with his phone to his ear. He stopped in front of the shelf, looked at the figurine, and gave a sharp little laugh. "Yeah, I know which one," he said to whoever was on the other end. "The nerd statue. She loves that thing." He hung up, grabbed his suitcase from the hall closet, flipped it open on the floor, and, without even a moment's hesitation, picked up the figurine and tucked it inside. Then he zipped the suitcase halfway, slid it back into the closet, and walked away. Timestamp, 48 hours before I lost it. When I'd confronted Maria, that suitcase had already been hiding his lie. I saved the clip as Exhibit A, theft. The second clip made my stomach knot tighter. The living room again. Evening. Adam and Maya on the couch, leaning in close, whispering like kids planning a prank in a cafeteria, except they were in their 20s, and this wasn't a movie. "Okay, so you'll ring the bell around 9, Adam said. "I'll pretend I'm out. Just go in, sit next to her, be flirty. See how far she lets it go." Maya rolled her eyes. "I don't need instructions on how to flirt, Adam. What if she actually kisses me back? Then what?" He smirked. "Then I get it all on camera and she fails. Either way, it's content. My friends are dying to see if she's really as perfect as she acts." "So I'm the villain?" Maya laughed. "Relax. You'll look hot. No one's going to blame you," he said. "Just make her prove she's loyal." "And if she is?" Maya asked. Adam shrugged. "Then we post a loyal girlfriend test instead. Either way, we win." I renamed that file Exhibit B, the conspiracy. The third clip was somehow worse. It was Adam alone again, pacing, phone pressed to his ear. I recognized the tone he used when he talked to his mother, half adult, half boy, trying to sell her on something. "Mom, I swear, she's so easy to manage," he said. "She thinks she's this big, independent woman, but if I cry a little and talk about my feelings, bam, she's apologizing for upsetting me." He laughed. "No, listen, I'm going to do this loyalty test thing with Maya. Yeah, I know. It's stupid, but Liv needs to be reminded she's not above being tested like everyone else. And if she fails, I walk, and she looks like the villain. If she passes, I get a great story. You'll see." Silence while his mother talked on the other end. Then Adam again. "Of course she'll forgive me. She always does. She hates conflict. She's useful that way." I sat there, watching my own living room on the screen, and felt something inside me detach, like a snapped thread. I saved that file as Exhibit C, financial and emotional manipulation, even though it was more emotional than anything. But the title felt right. He hadn't just been playing games with my heart. In his mind, I was a resource, a system to optimize, a useful variable. By the time the sky outside my window shifted from black to gray, my eyes burned and my brain felt both exhausted and wired. I changed the locks that morning. The locksmith didn't ask questions. It cost me $260, and a Saturday I'd planned to spend doing nothing. But when the new keys clicked in the fresh deadbolt, I felt my shoulders drop half an inch. Worth it. At exactly 10 a.m., someone started pounding on my door. Not knocking. Pounding. I checked the peephole and had to bite back a humorless laugh. Arthur and Helen Vance, Mr. and Mrs. Vance, stood on the other side, dressed in their weekend casual, looking like a couple from a mortgage ad. Behind them, Adam hovered, arms crossed, trying very hard to look angry instead of terrified. I opened the door but kept the chain on. "Miss Reed," Mr. Vance said, voice tight, "take the chain off. We need to talk." "No," I replied calmly, "we don't." "Don't you dare be disrespectful," Mrs. Vance snapped, stepping forward like she might shove the door open on sheer indignation alone. "You humiliated my children. You sent that," she flailed a hand, "that vile video to us. What kind of woman does that?" I met her gaze through the narrow gap. "A woman who was sexually harassed in her own home," I said, "by your daughter, at your son's instruction, while he filmed it." She reared back like I'd slapped her. "That's not what happened," Adam cut in quickly. "It was a loyalty test, Liv. You passed. We were going to tell you." "You hid in my bedroom and laughed while Maya put her hands on me," I said. "You weren't testing me. You were entertaining yourself." Mr. Vance lifted a hand, rubbing his forehead like he felt a migraine coming on. All right. Everyone lower your voices. Olivia, this has gotten out of hand. Can we just come in and talk like adults?" "No," I repeated. "We can talk right here." "You can't throw Adam out like garbage because of a misunderstanding," Mrs. Vance said. "He has rights. You live together. That makes him a tenant." "He's not on the lease," I said. "He pays no rent. He has no legal standing here. He was my guest. His guest status is revoked." Their expressions shifted, outrage tripping over confusion. "You can't just," Adam started. "Oh, I can," I cut in. "But maybe we should talk about something else while we're here, like my missing figurine." Color drained from his face so quickly it was almost fascinating. "What figurine?" he said weakly. "The expensive collector's item I bought with my promotion bonus, the one you insisted Maria stole." I tilted my head. "You forgot about that test, didn't you?" Mr. Vance looked between us. "What figurine?" "Oh," I said mildly. "He didn't tell you?" "I installed that camera you saw in the email about a month ago. I finally had time to review the footage." I lifted my phone, already queuing up Exhibit A. The tiny screen showed Adam in my living room, his hands reaching for the figurine, his voice saying, "She loves that thing." "Stop," Adam hissed. "You can't show them." "Why not?" I murmured. "You were happy enough to film me without my knowledge." I turned the volume up. On screen, Adam tucked my figurine into his suitcase and slid it into the closet. Off screen, Adam stared, speechless. Mr. Vance's face crumpled into something between shock and disgust. "Adam," he said slowly, "tell me you were just putting it somewhere safe." The fact that this was his first reach, for some version where his son wasn't a thief, told me everything I needed to know about their family patterns. Adam didn't answer. He didn't have to. I locked my phone and let the silence stretch. "This conversation is over," I said finally. "I'll finish packing Adam's things. They'll be in boxes. You have 24 hours to schedule a pickup. After that, they're going into storage at your expense." "You can't just throw him out," Mrs. Vance sputtered, stumbling over her own words. "You're heartless. What happened to compassion? To family?" "Your son and daughter staged a sexual harassment prank, stole from me, and tried to frame my cleaner," I said. "I'm fresh out of compassion." I shut the door. Their voices bled through the wood for a few seconds, outraged, disbelieving, flustered, then faded as they retreated down the hall. I leaned against the door, exhaled slowly, and felt that same cold steadiness settle over me. You identify the problem, you assess the damage, you act accordingly. I thought that might be the end of it. Let them rage in their group chats and family dinners. Let them rework the narrative among themselves. I was wrong. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Local, but not personal. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something in my gut told me to pick up. "Hello? Miss Reed?" a male voice asked. "This is Officer Nolan with the local police department. We're responding to a call made by a Mr. Adam Vance. He reported that you're refusing to return his property, including vital medication, and that you've been exhibiting threatening behavior. For a heartbeat, I just stared at the wall. Of course. Officer, I said, my voice suddenly very calm. I am perfectly fine and perfectly calm. My ex-boyfriend is angry I broke up with him. His property is currently being packed into boxes. His medication is on my kitchen counter, set aside for pickup. There's also context you need to see. We're downstairs at your building now, he said. Would you mind if we come up and talk? Not at all, I replied. In fact, please do. I'll have a video ready for you when you get here. I hung up, walked to the TV, and queued up Exhibit A and Exhibit B on my screen, my hands suddenly steady again. Because if Adam wanted to escalate this into a legal story, fine. I had the whole season recorded. 2 minutes later, there was a knock. Firm, professional, and nothing like the Vance's desperate pounding from the day before. I opened the door. 2 officers stood there. Officer Nolan, tall, middle-aged, the kind of calm that comes from 1,000 domestic calls, and a younger partner who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else on a Sunday morning. Miss Reed? Nolan asked. That's me. He nodded politely. We just want to clear up a report. Mr. Vance says you've locked him out and are withholding his personal property, including medication. He also mentioned, he glanced at his notes, that you may have filmed him without consent. Behind him, in the hallway, I could see Adam and Maya pretending to look wounded. Maya had sunglasses on indoors. Adam's hands were shaking. From anger or fear, I couldn't tell. Would you like to come in? I said evenly. Everything he mentioned is in the kitchen, and I can show you exactly why this happened. The officers stepped inside. The younger one blinked at the neat rows of packed boxes labeled Adam, closet, and Adam, bathroom. Looks pretty civil so far, he muttered. I prefer order, I said, and evidence. They followed me into the living room. The giant TV screen was already on pause, showing a frame of Maya leaning toward me on the couch, her hand clearly on my knee. Officer Nolan squinted. What are we about to watch, Miss Reed? A short film, I said dryly. Directed by Adam Vance, starring his sister and me. Genre, psychological horror disguised as a loyalty test. I hit play. They watched in silence as the clip rolled. Maya's flirtatious comments, my stiff body language, the sudden lunge, my shove, then Adam bursting out of the bedroom, laughing, recording on his phone, shouting, "You passed!" When it ended, the room was so quiet I could hear the hum of the refrigerator. So, Nolan said finally, turning toward me, just to be clear, she tried to kiss you, you pushed her away, and your ex-boyfriend filmed it as a prank? That's correct. And now he's upset because you broke up with him and won't let him move back in. Also correct. And you filmed it too? Yes, I said, because I'd already suspected theft and gaslighting. My home, my camera. One-party consent state. The footage protects me. Nolan's partner coughed into his hand, clearly trying not to laugh. Nolan sighed, the long, tired exhale of a man who's seen every flavor of stupidity. He walked to the door and opened it. Mr. Vance, he called into the hallway. Adam and Maya straightened. Your ex-girlfriend is fine. She's calm, cooperative, and has your medication packed for you. He pointed toward the brown paper bag on my counter. This is a civil matter, not a criminal one. She's allowing you to take your things now. We'll stand by while you do. Maya's face twisted. But she threatened us. She's crazy. Ma'am, Nolan interrupted, his tone flat. We've seen the video, the one you staged. If you'd like, we can cite you for misuse of emergency services. Your choice. Maya's mouth snapped shut. Adam stared at the floor. This isn't over, he muttered. Oh, I'm counting on that, I said quietly. For the next 30 minutes, I sat on my couch sipping coffee while Adam and Maya shuffled in and out, hauling boxes, backpacks, and a lifetime of self-importance. The officers leaned in the doorway, chatting about football. At one point, Maya dropped a box and glared at me. You'll regret this. I didn't look up from my mug. Cool. Tell your dad I said hi. When the last bag was gone, Officer Nolan gave me a small nod. You handled that better than most. For what it's worth, they looked embarrassed. Good, I said. Embarrassment is a decent teacher. The door closed. The apartment went still again. Just me, the soft tick of the wall clock, and a faint trace of Adam's cologne lingering in the air. I could have cried. Instead, I cleaned. It took 2 hours to scrub away their fingerprints and bad energy. By the time I finished, the place looked like mine again. Quiet, precise. peaceful. I thought that might be the end of it. It wasn't. 3 weeks later, a thick cream-colored envelope arrived in my mailbox. Embossed, expensive, formal, the kind of stationery meant to intimidate. The return address read, Vance Henderson and Associates, LLP. I felt a cold laugh building before I even opened it. Inside was a 3-page letter written by Mrs. Helen Vance herself on official company letterhead. It wasn't from a lawyer. She was the office manager at her husband's accounting firm, and she'd clearly decided that made her qualified to wage war. It began with the kind of faux polite venom only an upper-middle-class matriarch can produce. Dear Miss Reed, this correspondence serves as a formal notification of our family's distress caused by your recent actions toward our son, Adam Vance. The paragraphs that followed were deranged. According to Helen, I had entered into an implied domestic partnership with Adam and therefore had unlawfully evicted him. My covert surveillance was a gross violation of privacy and electronic harassment. My decision to send the footage to their family had caused severe emotional distress, reputational damage, and anxiety. Then came the demands. To settle amicably and avoid legal escalation, I was to pay Adam a $15,000 relocation and distress fee. Cover 1 year of therapy, quote attached, $12,000. Surrender all copies of the video footage. Sign a legally binding non-disclosure agreement. Provide a written apology to Adam, Maya, and the Vance family. If I failed to comply within 10 business days, they would pursue all legal remedies. I laughed, out loud, for a solid 5 minutes. Then I took photos of every page and forwarded them to my real lawyer with a single line. Want to have some fun? He called me back within the hour, equal parts amused and delighted. Miss Reed, he said, this is an attempted extortion letter written on corporate letterhead. That's not just stupid, that's criminally stupid. Can we use it? I asked. Oh, absolutely. You just got handed the grenade and the pin. That same night, my phone buzzed again. Ben, a mutual friend of Adam's and mine. He sounded nervous. Hey, Liv, I don't believe this crap, but you need to hear what Adam's telling people. I braced myself. Go on. He's saying you were obsessed with him, controlling, that you were, Ben hesitated, lowering his voice. That you were grooming Maya, that the whole test was his way of catching you. For a moment, everything in me went quiet. So now, I said slowly, I'm the predator in their version. Yeah, Ben admitted. He says you doctored the footage to make him look bad. I told him that was insane, but he's spreading it fast. I stared out the window at the city lights, the little dots blurring through the glass. They're not trying to get me back, I murmured. They're trying to destroy me. Liv, I'm sorry. It's fine, I said, my voice suddenly steady again. I work in data. I know how to handle bad actors. When I hung up, the rage didn't feel fiery anymore. It was cold, organized, analytical, the kind of anger that belongs in a spreadsheet. If they wanted a war, fine, but I wasn't bringing emotion. I was bringing receipts. The next morning, I met with my lawyer. He skimmed Helen's letter again, shaking his head. You have every advantage here. One-party consent state, private residence, clear evidence of harassment, theft, defamation, and now extortion. So what do we do? He smiled. We write back, once. Together we drafted something surgical, precise. A scalpel disguised as a polite email. Subject, formal response to your demand letter, dated May 14th. It began calmly enough, reaffirming that her claims were baseless, that Adam had no tenancy rights, that the state's consent laws were clear. Then came the scalpel. Your attempt to extort $27,000 from my client using your accounting firm's official letterhead is unethical, potentially illegal, and has been noted by counsel. I am sure Mr. Henderson will be interested in this new advisory service your firm is apparently offering. We attached 4 files. Exhibit A, the loyalty test. Exhibit B, the conspiracy. Exhibit C, the theft. Exhibit D, the call with Mrs. Vance, where she was heard laughing and coaching Adam about how to keep Liv in line. The email closed with the deadline. You have 24 hours to confirm total compliance, cease all contact, retract all defamatory statements, and never attempt to reach Miss Reed or her associates again. Failure to comply will result in immediate legal and public action. This is not a test. When we hit send, my lawyer grinned. Now, he said, we wait. And I did. For the first time in weeks, I turned my phone off, locked my doors, and slept. Because if there's one thing data has taught me, it's this. When a system starts collapsing, you don't interfere. You let gravity finish the job. 36 hours later, my phone lit up with a missed call from an unknown number and a 10-second voicemail. When I played it back, a man's voice, low, shaky, broken, filled the room. "Miss Reed, it's Arthur Vance. Please call me. I just need to talk." That was all. I didn't call him back. I forwarded it to my lawyer. He called Arthur instead. Their conversation lasted 6 minutes. When he hung up, he looked almost sorry for the man. "Well," he said, "turns out the senior partner at Vance Henderson called Arthur into his office first thing this morning. Apparently, they don't appreciate company letterhead being used for personal blackmail. Helen was fired on the spot. For cause. Arthur was given a choice. Fix this mess or find a new firm." A slow, incredulous smile crept across my face. "So the grenade went off." "Oh, it did," my lawyer said. "And now the shrapnel's all theirs." The next evening, my mutual friend Ben called again. His voice carried that mix of awe and gossip fuel. "Liv, you're not going to believe this. Adam just posted the weirdest apology in the group chat." "What kind of apology?" "He said he'd had a bad breakup, that he said some untrue and slanderous things about you, that he's deeply sorry for spreading lies out of anger. Then he left the chat." I leaned back on my couch, letting the satisfaction wash over me like warm static. "Sounds like someone got a family meeting," I murmured. He had. Later, I'd learn what really happened from Ben, who got it from a cousin, who got it from someone inside the Vance household. Arthur came home that night carrying a flash drive. He called everyone into the living room. Helen, Adam, Maya. He plugged the drive into the TV and pressed play. Exhibit A. Maya's lunge. My shove. Adam's laughter. Exhibit B. The two siblings whispering about the setup. Exhibit C. Adam hiding my figurine. Exhibit D. The phone call where Helen coached him on how to keep Liv manageable. 10 minutes of video that dismantled their version of reality. Maya broke first. She burst into tears, confessing everything, how Adam had begged her to do it, how she'd gone along to impress him, how their mother had laughed about it afterward. Adam tried denial until Arthur paused the video on his own face, hand on the figurine. Then he just went silent. Helen doubled down, of course. She blamed editing tricks, accused Arthur of taking my side, accused everyone of betrayal. That was when Arthur gave them an ultimatum. Get therapy and make this right, or get out. Helen and Adam packed that night. Maya stayed. The next morning, Arthur called my lawyer again. Not to threaten, just to confirm compliance. No more contact. No more stories. It was done. 3 weeks passed. I didn't hear a word from any of them. No emails, no blocked number calls, no mysterious packages. Then, one afternoon, a certified envelope arrived. Inside was a cashier's check for $5,000. The memo line read simply, "For Maria." I sat at my kitchen table staring at it for a long time before I smiled. Arthur understood. That weekend, I drove across town to Maria's little bungalow. She opened the door wearing her usual apron, eyes wide when she saw me. "Miss Olivia," she said softly, "is everything okay?" "Everything's better now," I told her. We sat at her kitchen table, the smell of coffee and lemon cleaner filling the air. I told her the truth, that Adam had stolen the figurine, blamed her, lied to me, that his father had sent this. When I slid the check across the table, Maria covered her mouth with both hands. Tears filled her eyes. "I can go home," she whispered. "I can finally go home to see my sister." She started crying in earnest then, and I just let her. It felt like closure for both of us. That night, back in my quiet condo, I poured a glass of wine and did one final cleanup. I deleted every copy of the videos from my cloud. The originals went onto an encrypted hard drive, sealed in a safe deposit box downtown, my trust but verify insurance policy. The apartment was still, peaceful, clean. For the first time in months, it felt like mine again. I've thought a lot about patterns since all this happened. The Vances built their lives on tests, loyalty tests, morality tests, games where someone always had to lose for them to feel secure. They played one with me and assumed they'd control the outcome. But here's the thing about patterns. If you don't understand them, they'll expose you. They played a stupid game. They didn't just win a stupid prize. They lost everything.